Hello everyone, welcome back to the Book Corner where I do book reviews and I show books off and much more. So it is time for another review of the second Fear Street movie called Fear Street 1978. This is a year before I was born. I was born in 79, so this takes place 42 years from today. So the story basically takes place at Camp Nightwing. Camp Nightwing was featured in the Fear Street book Lights Out. I do not know if it was the same characters or whatnot, but because I actually have the book Lights Out, but I've not gotten to it. I'm still in the middle of reading Nightmare Hall. I should have a book review for that book up tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow, so yes, I'm very happy about that. I like to side note, I am going to finish Party Summer before I take my COVID vaccine, just so that that way I basically can moan and complain and all that stuff. Fear Street 1978 is the second movie in the trilogy, and it basically follows we're going back in time to where it all began, how Shadyside got cursed the way that it did, and it is really, if you really watch the second one, you really do get the impression that Sarah Fear was in fact a witch, though we might find out what leads her to become one. We probably will find out what leads her to become one when we watch the final one. Now, for people who may not know, next week I take my final COVID shot. So because I'm taking my final COVID shot and I'm probably not going to be up for watching anything or reading anything, I'm going to actually watch 1666 on Friday when it comes out. And I will do a movie review of 1666, and it will also include my overall impression of the whole three movies. So 1978, Camp Nightwing, and basically you have these two sisters. They both come from what is known as a broken home, which is typically what it is. What goes on in Shadyside. Shadyside is a crime-ridden, basically a crime-ridden cesspit. It is definitely the town where everything that possibly can go wrong goes wrong, and there's a lot of supernatural connections and all that type of stuff, and all deals with Simon and Angelica Fear and their centuries-old feud with the Goodies. So once again, the Goodies. So, as I said in my previous video, Sunnyvale, or I think it's Sunnyvale, yeah, or Sunnyside. Well, anyways, so the good part of of what used to be one are all controlled by the Goody family, and Shadyside is the legacy of the Fear family. So you have these. It continues on with this whole the Goodies have everything and the Fear family have nothing. Or Fear family, the Fear family and Shadyside are connected to each other like they are in the books. So Camp Nightwing, you have people that are residents of Shadyside. Shadyside is very impossible for you to leave Shadyside, because essentially there is no opportunities at all. Really, the only way that A lot of people think they can leave Shayside is going to college, which is doubtful. It seems like the curse really keeps Shayside residents contained, and if the curse is ever broken, we don't know what's going to happen. We won't actually know what's going to happen to Shayside until we watch the ending of 1666. So, the two survivors of 1994, they visit the only survivor of the massacre in 1978, and she's a very, very, very odd person. She drinks, which her mother did. Her mother was a heavy drinker. She could not handle her problems. Her daughter also could not handle what happened at Camp Nightwing. And so she drinks. Not only does she drink, but she's really into TV dinners. One of the scenes we have is she's eating macaroni and cheese, and she's drowning it down with whiskey. Either it's whiskey or bourbon, one of the two. So she's visited by the two that have survived the massacre that killed most of their friends. It's being labeled as a methamphetamine thing. We find out that the sheriff is the one who actually gave the woman who survived the 1978 massacre the note saying that it's happening again. In other words, he believes that the witch is real. He believes that the things that happened in 1978 again happened with these kids. He does not believe that these kids were taking methamphetamines and all that type of stuff, and that's how they died, which is kind of hard to link methamphetamine to your head being sliced like bread. So yeah. So he does not believe that, but he has to make people believe that he believes that it was methamphetamine. The girl's girlfriend is still possessed. She's still one of the witch's servants, but they have her hogtied very well, and she actually is attached to a radiator, which is going to be absolutely impossible to get out of, and all that. So as I said, we go to Camp Nightwing, and and the woman, when she was a teenager who went to Camp Nightwing, she is labeled as being a witch, which is very bad. There's all sorts of she sucks cock and all that type of stuff. These three girls, who all three of them end up dead. They cannot stand her, mainly because she is Shadyside. But yeah. So, I should have warned at the very beginning of this video, there's going to be spoilers. So I will put that in the title of the video, so that way you guys will know beforehand that there are spoilers in this video. So they all discover, so not all of them, but her sister and this girl finds themselves really in the one place that, yes, it's fun to say we found the witch's house, but to actually be in the witch's house is a psychological nightmare. So this girl and her boyfriend, they're both counselors. They're supposed to be doing their job, but they would rather have sex and smoke and all that instead of doing their job. And so they decide they're going to find the witch's house and everything, and they do find the witch's house, and they actually discover that actually, in fact, Seraphir was in fact a witch. So So the townspeople were right about Seraphir, in fact, being a witch. They just didn't know how bad it was. So, but our opinion of her might change in the final movie. We don't know. Right now, she's evil. There's kind of this whisper of that. If they want a witch, I will give them a witch. Things like that. It was kind of whispered in the trailer for the first Fear Street movie. There's a lot of nods to several horror movies like Carrie. Definitely, we find out who the sack-headed guy is. It was actually one of the counselors. He was actually attacked by a nurse who actually was, I don't know if she was a servant, but her niece was the one that slaughtered, the children and her family. She was the one that later on commits suicide. So she goes and she tries to kill this teenager, this camper's boyfriend, who is a counselor, who ends up becoming the axe-wielding psychopath. Tries to save her, ends up getting hurt. He ends up becoming fully the witch's servant when he goes down into the witch's house, and you kind of get this feeling that he's going to be a problem, a horrible problem, because he starts having kind of like these hallucinations and everything like that. Like he's trying to fight her influence until he has no choice but to give in. They did a really great job with the broken ankle. You actually saw her bone sticking out, which is interesting. You also see that Camp Nightwing is actually above, or parts of it are above where Seraphir used to go to do what she did. So they knew they knew that the passageways were there when they built the camp. It was not a secret to the builders. The builders knew they were there. Also, you see for the first time the walls that have people's names on it. These are the people that killed for the witch, who committed horrible atrocities in service of the witch, Seraphir. We also get a glimpse into some of the minister's victims. Their eyes gouged out. So it's mentioned in the first Fear Street movie that the minister killed children and cut their eyes out. And so we see in this hallucination, you see this thing bubbling up in the ground, and the girl who just lost her boyfriend, he got axed 3 times in the head, which could definitely echo, was that one woman? I don't remember her name. I'll probably remember it later on down the road. Where she axed her father and her stepmother, supposedly, because she was never found guilty. So, but yeah, so she touches this substance, this thing that's coming out of the ground, and she sees images of the milkman, of this one child kind of thing. I think I might have missed that because I was busy reading this book. But we definitely see the minister's victims. The minister's victims are actually in the cave. Their eyes are gone and they are dead, and they're dressed in Puritan outfits. These little children. So the minister basically killed these children, cut their eyeballs out, and I have no idea what he did with them. Basically, she developed the ability or power to turn normal, ordinary people into monsters. No idea what happens to the minister. I'm sure we'll probably find out what happens to the minister, because we do know that he dies, because he is one of because he was one of the witch's servants. But we do know that there's probably a good chance that he dies in the third movie. So I really liked the elements of the 70s horror movies. They were excellent. Definitely love that they're continuing that. You don't have the girl running through the woods screaming her lungs out, which is a breath of fresh air. I'm really not a fan of girls who just run around with their freaking heads chopped off until the killer actually cuts it off. I also like the idea that she was willing to do what needed to be done to rescue her sister, who of course dies. But yeah, so at the very, very end of the movie, we find that, first of all, the girl that ends up getting killed as well, she finds Sarah Fierce's hand. Now, there's a little bit of a scene at the end of it where she's got the knife over her wrist. Looks like she's about ready to cut her hand off. Basically, she is, if it is what I think it is, she's about ready to enter the pact that will give her will allow her to live forever if she sacrifices her hand. So the girl found Sarah Fierce's hand, which, if you reattach it back to the body, it's supposed to break the curse. So what ends up happening is the two find the hand again. Apparently, she buried the hand in one place that she knew it would never be discovered, and sure enough, it is found, and the girl goes to the witch's grave to put the hand back, and no sooner does she reattach the hand back to the body that she finds herself, at least subconsciously, she finds herself back in 1666 when Sarah Fier was alive. And this is right when all of this bad stuff is starting to happen, and everything. So this coming Friday, 1666, is coming out. I will definitely be watching it when it does come out, due to the fact is I'm taking the COVID vaccine, second dosage. I can't wait till I am fully vaccinated. I will be very happy about that. I will be fully vaccinated on the I'll be fully vaccinated on the 2nd of next month, so I will be very happy about that. I'm still going to take precautions to ensure that I don't get the Delta variant, but it will be very hard to not put the mask back on, especially when I have been fully vaccinated. So yeah, so there's my review of Fear Street 1978. I hope all of you guys enjoyed it. It was a blast of a movie to watch. I did skip a couple seconds of dialogue, but I did feel sorry for the poor little fat kid that died. He did not deserve what he got. Poor little fat kid. Actually, they all didn't deserve what they got. But hopefully, by the time we get to the ending of 1666, the curse has been broken, and hopefully that will be the end of Shadyside problems. Though, with it being Fear Street, it probably won't be. We'll see what happens at the end of 1666. So, as I said, I will be watching the movie as soon as it comes out. I will do a full review of the movie I will do an overall impression of the movie. Does it go along with the books and all this type of stuff? So I will leave you to watch something else. So I will see you guys around. Until next time, may you be happy, healthy, most importantly be safe, and read on.